Hi everyone, welcome to my guide of Tyrant Felsworn on Ascension's Conquest of Azeroth realm. Tyrant is a tank spec that utilizes dodging and leeching through damage to sustain your health. Some quick pros and cons I found whilst leveling this spec: absolutely dominates in damage meter. I don't know if it's the same with all tank specs, but as Tyrant you have access to constant AoE damage, which lets me to be top DPS in every dungeon so far. The downsides though are that you're quite weak against magic damage and your HP is not the highest. Also, your Felsworn can easily be overcapped with many talents generating it, but not many spells to spend it. So let's do a quick overview of the playstyle of Tyrant. Your resources are similar to a rogue. You have energy you can spend to generate Felsworn and spend Felsworn to deal damage. For Felsworn generators you have Twin Slice, the single target melee attack, Felsworn, an AoE melee attack, and lastly Fel Fireball, single target cast spell, which is a melee. You don't usually use this, but there is a default talent that turns it into an instant cast, which I'll be talking about in a moment. Your Felsworn spenders are Sargeron Smite, a ranged spell that you won't be really using as a tank, Carve, a powerful AoE melee under a very weak attack that reduces enemies, power attack, and finally, of course, you have Inner Demon, which consumes all of your charges. For buffs, you have Illidar Intuition, which gives you agility, and Manar Intuition, which gives you armor and minor amount of stats. You can have both on at the same time, which is nice. The agility buff is giving almost 4% dodge and more damage and healing in return. For defensives, you have Hateforge Barrier, a simple absorb shield that can scale up in value with talents. Inner Demon, a demonic form that gives you 10% more damage and unlocks extra effects with certain spells, like being able to leech with Carve with the talent Straight to the Nether, and also taking 10% less damage with Bulwark of Azeroth talent. So safe to say you want to have Inner Demon uptime be 100%, which is not hard to do. Skull of Golden, increasing your maximum health and energy by 25%, Burning Hatred, giving you 6 Felsworn charges and allowing you to leech 50% of your melee damage. Demonic Will, reducing your physical damage by 30% and allowing you to leech 3% HP every half a second. And now let's look at the talents. This is the setup that I have, and it's mainly a dungeon build, so it's more focused on self-healing and damage. The ones with the pink circles are what I consider optional talents, meaning they don't really change the spec that much, so it's up to you if you want to choose them or not. Let's go over some of the more important talents for the level cap talents. At level 10, you can start using two-hand weapons, which I find really cool. Not only that, but because Carve does weapon damage, so the 2 weapons add so much more damage. The additional armor and magic resistance is not working though at the moment, which sucks a bit as you are quite weak against magical damage. Level 20, you have Hulking Demon, which gives you more attack power and hit rating from your primary stats. Level 30, you have Hellfire Carver. After casting Carve, your next Fel Fireball will become instant cast and hit up to 10 enemies. This is the only situation where you would want to use Fel Fireball, as it costs less energy and does more damage than Felsworn. Level 40, your Fel Fireball. Sargeron Smite and Twin Slice does more damage based on your agility, which is huge, as this makes my Fel Fireball do second, sometimes even top damaging ability in dungeons. At 50, you get 25% more stamina, which is nice, and size by 10%, which is a bit funny. So let's look at the general class talents now. As these talents are shared between all specs, there are talents that are straight up useless for tank. Most of the left side talents are for DPS and PvP, so they are at best optional to pick. I spec'd into Cruelty and Focused Hatred as I had leftover points, but you shouldn't pick Focused Hatred until you get your instant Fel Fireball talent at level 30. Whispers of the Pit is very important to get for dungeon, as it is your only ability to interrupt and CC mobs, so I would definitely pick this. Illidan's Guile is basically an ice block, so you do not want to pick it as a tank, because mobs will just change target when you use it. Elemental Bane is optional as it gives you more damage, however you do have to waste 2 points speccing into Illidan's Guile and Warden's End, which are useless, so decide for yourself if it's worth it. On the right side are your tank talents, so you should basically unlock everything on that side. Doomstride and Legion March are really nice to have. It lets you travel fast to pull a lot of mobs and run back to your group. Suffering and Gul'dan's Gift are interchangeable. The difference is with Suffering, your Soul of Gul'dan's spell lasts for 15 seconds on a 1.5 minutes cooldown. With Gul'dan's Gift, it becomes 10 seconds on a 2 minutes cooldown, but you get more maximum HP and energy from it. Anti-magic is great as it gives you 10% magic damage reduction when your Hateforged barrier is removed. It has a surprisingly high uptime because you cast Hateforged barrier quite often. Illidari barrier is amazing. Not only does it give a shield to everyone in your group, but you also benefit from it too, meaning you get 2 shields when you use Hateforged barrier. However, you get a debuff that prevents you from getting another Illidari barrier for 20 seconds, which means you do not get a second shield every time you use Hateforged barrier if you choose the Nether Strength talent on the right side, as the cooldown of the barrier will be less than 20 seconds. And there is an option to switch from anti-magic to chaotic, basically sacrificing a bit of survivability for a bit more damage, but you will have to decide and test out for yourself. On to the spec-specific talents. Main things to get are Demon Hide, giving you more armor when you go into inner demon form, giving you more physical damage reduction. Bulwark of Azeroth, giving you 10% damage reduction. And Straight to the Nether, allowing you to heal from the damage of Carve. Because of these talents, you want to have Inner Demon up all the time to have more survivability. For this talent, you can choose Quick Carving, making Carve 1.5 seconds channel instead of 2.5, or Nylon Rituals, which refunds 1 Fel Fury after casting Carve, however on a 2.5 seconds channel. I prefer Quick Carving, because with the other talent, I found myself overcapping energy in Fel Fury, because Carve takes so long to channel. And not only that, taking longer to channel just means you take longer to heal yourself, making yourself more vulnerable. Illidari training is nice to have, as you energy regen is an issue you have to deal with. Burning Hatred gives you 6 Fel Fury and causing your melee damage to heal yourself, and is a great defensive to have when you find Straight to the Nether talent not sufficient to keep you alive. Pairing it with Manoroth's Rage, which reduces its cooldown to 1 minute, and Nether Strength, spending Fel Fury to reduce cooldown of Burning Hatred, Hateforged Barrier, and Demonic Will, allowing you to use these spells very often. For the last tier talent, I would go for Gromash's Folly, making Carve deal up to 60% more damage, thus more healing, with Straight to the Nether talent. However, at the moment of making this video, the spell is bugged, making Carve do way less damage. And that's why I don't have it picked right now, but I will pick this when it gets fixed. Alternatively, Tyrannical Resolve is a pretty good defensive, a 50% damage reduction, and healing you when the effect is removed. But in order to get this spell, you have to sacrifice Manoroth's Rage and choose Vengeance is Mine, which gives you a chance from dodging or parrying to generate extra Fel Fury with Twin Slice. It sounds nice on paper, but you don't really use Twin Slice a lot in dungeons, plus you don't lack Fel Fury at all in any circumstances, because of Fel Racked, making Twin Slice generates an extra Fel Fury every 3 strikes. And Vengeance, Twin Slice, and Felrend have a 60% chance to generate an extra Fel Fury. On top of that, you have cooldowns with Burning Hatred and Blood of Manoroth, both generating 6 Fel Furies, so that talent is kind of overkill and not utilized in any context. On the right side are talents that buff the group. Eye of the Tyrant, giving a passive 10% haste, Infernal Whipcrack, a mini Bloodlust giving 15% damage reduction and a further 10% haste for 12 seconds. And the last talent, Taskmaster's Army, reducing the cooldown of the mini Bloodlust. So not really useful for dungeons, but can be of use in a raid setting. But let's circle back to the Fel Fury problem. This is the only major criticism I have with the spec. It has too many ways to generate Fel Fury and not enough ways to spend. I wish there would be a spell that restores energy based on the charges of Fel Fury. I mean, you kind of have Sargeron Smite that generates 20 energy, but it is a DPS loss to use a single target spell in a dungeon. You also have the talent Demonic Embrace, allowing you to generate 50 energy when you use Inner Demon with 6 Fel Fury charges. It is nice, but it feels kind of clunky to use Inner Demon again during Inner Demon just to restore some energy. On to the rotation now. Before we do a pull, of course, we will want to use Hateforge Barrier on CD, giving us some damage absorption. And to pull mobs, I like to use Bane of Betrayal simply because it's a ranged spell, so you can pull mobs far away. Once the mobs are in range, use Twin Slice for single target or Felsworn for AoE. As soon as we reach 6 charges of Fel Fury, we enter Inner Demon form, accessing a lot of the buffs we talked about before, and also restoring 50 energy. After that, we just generate Fel Fury with Twin Slice or Felsworn again. Alternatively, you can use Burning Hatred or Blood of Manaroth to instantly generate 6 Fel Fury charges. Once you have at least 2 Fel Fury charges, you use Carve, dealing a lot of damage and healing you in the process. And because of our level 30 talent, our Fel Fireball will be instant cast at this point, so use it, and then it is just a rotation of generating Fel Fury, spending Fel Fury by using Carve, and then followed by Fel Fireball. Of course, refreshing Hateforge Barrier whenever it becomes available again. You can use Sunder during the rotation, reducing enemies' attack power by 23, which is a very low amount. That's why I generally don't bother using it. You should be keeping track of the Inner Demon buff, and before it finishes, you should start saving up your Fel Fury and restarting the cycle once it finishes. For defensives, you want to be using Burning Hatred and Demonic Will a lot, as they are on a short cooldown, further reduced by your Nether Strength talent. You also have Skull of Gul'dan, which is a longer cooldown spell, but is not affected by the reduction talent. And lastly, there is Fel Bargain, healing yourself by spending energy on a 3-minute cooldown, which I hardly use because we do lack energy a lot. As for the stats you would want, of course, stamina and agility. Stamina giving you extra health, but also adds more absorption value to your shield and attack power. Agility gives you crit, hit rating, extra armor, and most importantly, dodge chance for secondary stats. They don't really matter that much. Dodge rating is slightly better than others. As with the Pure Hatred talent, your dodge rating adds to the shield amount as well, although you're unlikely to have more than 150, so it doesn't add a whole lot. One thing you don't need is hit rating, as you will be getting enough from your agility. So yeah, let's summarize this spec as a whole. I really like the playstyle of the Tyrant Felsworn, being able to zoom into the dungeon, pulling a lot of mobs, then doing massive damage and healing yourself. The caveat though, as with any classes that have strong self-healing, is that you are quite weak in terms of defense. And the one big flaw of the spec is that your whole survivability relies on you being able to cast Carve, when a lot of mobs, especially in Scarlet Crusade, where mobs can knock you or even hard stun you, making you unable to heal the damage taken. So yeah, I'm expecting some changes to the class, at the very least fixing the talent bug. Would be nice if Ascension added a spell where we can heal, or a defensive that uses Fel Fury instead of energy. I think that would solve the overcapping Fel Fury problem. Well, thanks for checking this guide out. Hope you found it useful. See ya!